I'm going to make an unconventional endorsement. I'm endorsing Sandy Pensler to be the next senator from the state of Michigan. He's running against Mike Rogers in the Republican primary. And I call this an unconventional endorsement because most people haven't heard of Sandy Pensler yet. There's been very little media about him. Mike Rogers has been endorsed by the NRSC, the National Republican Senatorial Committee. But I'm going the other way, and I'm backing Sandy anyway. He signed my American Truth Pledge, but not without actually really scrutinizing it in a way that impressed me, actually. Many people, and I respect these people too, who are already deeply aligned enough that they just sign off right away. He had questions about each of the different prongs. I traveled to Michigan recently to campaign for President Trump ahead of the Michigan GOP primary. Sandy made it a point to come out there, meet me in person, going out of his way, to sit down and have an in-depth conversation about what were some of those nuances and the elements of that pledge. Right? The people we elect to run the government should actually run the government. But what does it mean to actually fire 75% of bureaucrats? Over what time horizon? How? These are the kinds of questions he asked me. I'm not kidding. Think about the cutting of new elective foreign aid. Well, what does that mean for pre-existing commitments? He really scrutinized a lot of these questions, which I respect, actually. And it turns out we talked about some things that weren't on the pledge. We agree with 80, 90% of policies. I think it's a beautiful thing when we're actually able to have an honest and open conversation amongst people who want to play their role in leading this country to say, we may not agree on 100% of things, but we agree on darn close to most of them. And yet we can be honest enough with each other to say that that's actually where we get our candor back and trust back in our politics. He's a businessman. That obviously appeals to me. I was also very candid with him in return. I said, look, you're running against an establishment-backed candidate. Are you willing to actually put skin in the game? I put about $30 million of my own money into my presidential campaign. I know what that means. If you're investing your own money behind your campaign and your family's time and energy along with it, that's a real sacrifice and personal investment. And he's assured me he will be investing his own personal money in a non-small way in this campaign as well. And so the combination of that really won me over. I have to admit, I did not think I was going to come around endorsing him at the time that I sat down and met him. But after having spent time with him and seeing the earnest effort that he took, it's an unconventional endorsement. It's a little bit contrarian, but I do think he should be the next senator from the state of Michigan. I do think it's going to be the right decision for our country, and I am going to help him in any way that I can to win. And if we do this right, I think we're going to have a contrarian result of an outsider that we put in the Senate from Michigan. I've backed Bernie Moreno in the state of Ohio, where I am right now. He's an outsider, a businessman, an America First conservative. It's exactly what we need from our friends in the North and Michigan as well, and we're going to make it happen.